Have you ever wondered why certain archaeological discoveries suddenly disappear from public view, their research abruptly terminated, and their existence quietly erased from official records? What if I told you that scattered across the globe, hidden in private collections and sealed government vaults, lie artifacts so extraordinary that they challenge everything we know about human history and our place in the universe? These aren't your typical museum pieces gathering dust behind velvet ropes. These are objects that defy conventional explanation, artifacts that suggest contact with intelligence far beyond anything our ancestors should have possessed. From metallic discs inscribed with impossible star maps to sculptures displaying aerodynamic principles unknown to ancient civilizations, these forbidden relics paint a picture that mainstream archaeology refuses to acknowledge. Today, we're diving deep into 10 of the most suppressed archaeological discoveries in human history. Objects so controversial, so paradigm-shattering, that powerful institutions have gone to extraordinary lengths to keep them hidden from public scrutiny. Each artifact on this list has been systematically removed from academic discussion, their study terminated, and their very existence denied by official channels. But here's what makes this investigation particularly explosive. These aren't random curiosities that happen to look unusual. Every single one of these artifacts shares common characteristics that point toward the same disturbing conclusion. They display technological sophistication that shouldn't exist in their historical context. They contain materials or demonstrate properties that our ancestors couldn't have created with available resources. And most tellingly, they all disappeared from public access the moment researchers began uncovering evidence that challenged conventional historical narratives. What you're about to discover will fundamentally alter your understanding of human civilization and our planet's hidden history. These artifacts don't just suggest that ancient peoples were more advanced than we believed. They provide compelling evidence that our ancestors may have had contact with intelligence from beyond Earth itself. The pattern of suppression surrounding these discoveries is consistent across decades and continents. Researchers make breakthrough discoveries, governments intervene, evidence disappears, and official denials follow. The systematic nature of this cover-up suggests coordination at the highest levels to prevent humanity from learning the truth about our origins and our cosmic connections. Let's begin with perhaps the most extraordinary discovery of all. High in the remote Bayankara Ula Mountains, where few humans dare to venture, explorers in 1938 made a find that would shake the foundations of archaeology forever. Deep within ancient caves, they discovered dozens of stone discs, each about 9 inches in diameter and remarkably thin, almost like primitive vinyl records. But these weren't ordinary stone carvings. Each disc contained intricate spiral grooves that wound from the center to the outer edge, filled with tiny hieroglyphic symbols unlike any known writing system. The precision of the carving was extraordinary, requiring tools and techniques that shouldn't have existed in ancient times. When researchers finally managed to decode portions of the strange writing, the translations revealed something that defied all conventional understanding of history. The texts allegedly described a group called the Dropa, beings who came from the clouds in spinning discs that crash-landed in the mountains. The inscriptions detailed how these visitors became stranded on Earth, unable to return to their home among the stars. The implications were staggering. Here was physical evidence, carved in stone, of what appeared to be an ancient account of extraterrestrial contact. But the moment researchers began publishing their findings, the entire project was shut down. Government authorities seized the discs, classified all research materials, and warned investigators never to discuss their discoveries publicly. Within months, the stone discs had vanished completely. Some reports suggest they were moved to secret government facilities, while others claim they disappeared into private collections of wealthy individuals with connections to intelligence agencies. Today, only scattered photographs remain, carefully controlled and distributed through unofficial channels. Independent researchers who attempted to continue studying the few remaining images faced systematic harassment. Their funding was withdrawn, their academic credentials questioned, and their careers destroyed through coordinated campaigns of professional sabotage. The message was clear. The Dropa discs were too dangerous for public knowledge. Moving from ancient stone carvings to precision metallurgy, our next forbidden artifact challenges everything archaeologists claim about pre-Columbian technology. Deep in the mountains of Colombia, ancient craftsmen created gold figurines over 1,000 years ago that display aerodynamic perfection, matching modern aircraft design. These aren't primitive representations of birds or insects, as mainstream archaeology desperately insists. The Quimbaya flyers exhibit every characteristic of advanced aircraft engineering. Delta wing configurations, stabilizing tail fins, and proportions that match modern fighter jets with uncanny precision. When aerospace engineers built scale replicas of these golden figurines, they didn't just glide through the air. They flew with controlled, stable flight characteristics that would make any pilot proud. The metallurgical precision alone should be impossible for ancient civilizations. The gold work demonstrates techniques that require temperature control and alloying knowledge that historians claim didn't exist in pre-Columbian America. Yet here are dozens of these golden aircraft, created centuries before the Wright brothers were even born. The Colombian government now strictly controls access to these artifacts. Detailed scanning, metallurgical analysis, and aerodynamic testing have all been prohibited under national heritage protection laws. Researchers who attempt to study the figurines face legal action and have their equipment confiscated by authorities. But perhaps most disturbing is what happened to the independent engineer who built the first flying replicas. After successfully demonstrating that the ancient designs could achieve controlled flight, he was approached by government representatives who confiscated his models and research data. He was warned that further experimentation would result in serious legal consequences. The systematic suppression suggests that these golden aircraft represent more than artistic achievement. They may be precise copies of flying machines that ancient peoples observed firsthand, technological marvels that challenge our understanding of who visited Earth in prehistoric times. From Colombia's golden mysteries, we travel to Iraq, where one of archaeology's most controversial discoveries has been deliberately hidden from scientific scrutiny. Beyond the famous Baghdad battery that generates weak electrical current, researchers discovered a sealed version containing metallic residue, unlike anything in the periodic table. This advanced power cell demonstrated electrical output far exceeding the simple copper and iron configurations found in textbook examples. Early analysis suggested the unknown metal possessed properties that enhanced electrical conductivity in ways that modern science couldn't explain. The implications for understanding ancient technology were revolutionary. But before researchers could complete their analysis, the artifact vanished during the chaos of military operations in Iraq. Official reports claim it was destroyed in museum raids, but intelligence sources suggest it was deliberately extracted and moved to classified research facilities for study away from public oversight. The sealed Baghdad power jar represented more than advanced metallurgy. It provided physical evidence that ancient civilizations possessed energy generation capabilities that shouldn't have existed without modern scientific understanding. The technology required to create such a device suggests knowledge that came from sources beyond human discovery. What makes this suppression particularly suspicious is the coordinated effort to discredit even the basic Baghdad battery discoveries. Mainstream archaeologists now claim these artifacts were never intended as electrical devices, despite overwhelming evidence of their power generation capabilities. This systematic revision of archaeological interpretation suggests deliberate disinformation campaigns. The pattern continues with our next forbidden artifact, one that challenges the very foundations of metallurgical history and points toward technology that remains beyond our current capabilities. The Roswell metal strips remain one of the most elusive pieces of evidence in modern UFO research, yet their very existence has been systematically denied and erased from official records. In the aftermath of the 1947 Roswell incident, multiple eyewitnesses described debris unlike anything they had ever encountered, particularly thin metallic strips that exhibited impossible properties. These weren't ordinary aircraft materials. Witnesses reported that the metal strips could be crumpled, twisted, and bent into any shape, yet would instantly return to their original form when released. The material appeared virtually indestructible, showing no signs of stress, fatigue, or permanent deformation despite repeated manipulation. Some described it as lighter than aluminum, yet stronger than steel, with a surface that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly quality. Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer who first examined the Roswell debris, insisted until his death that the materials he handled were not of terrestrial origin. He described metal fragments that couldn't be cut, burned, or permanently altered by any conventional means. The properties he witnessed wouldn't be replicated by human technology for decades. When shape memory alloys finally emerged from classified military research programs, several alleged samples of this extraordinary material surfaced in private collections over the years, acquired through mysterious channels by individuals claiming connections to the original recovery operation. Each time legitimate laboratories attempted analysis, the samples would disappear under suspicious circumstances. Research facilities would be raided, scientists would be threatened, and the materials would vanish without explanation. Dr. Russell Vernon Clark, a metallurgist who briefly examined one such sample in the 1960s, reported that X-ray crystallography revealed an atomic structure unlike any known element. The metal appeared to exist in a state that violated conventional understanding of material science, exhibiting properties that suggested it was engineered at the molecular level. Before he could complete his analysis, federal agents confiscated his equipment and research data, warning him never to discuss his findings. The systematic elimination of evidence surrounding the Roswell metal strips suggests they represented technology far beyond 1947 human capabilities. Memory metals and shape recovery alloys didn't enter mainstream science until the 1980s, yet witnesses described these exact properties at the crash site decades earlier. The Advanced Materials Recovery Program that followed Roswell may have provided the foundation for breakthrough technologies that officially emerged from conventional research programs. From the New Mexico desert, we journey to the mountains of Nepal, where an artifact known as the Laladov plate presents evidence so disturbing that it disappeared completely after brief examination by European researchers. This ancient stone disc contains spiral carvings and depicts a humanoid figure with characteristics that match modern descriptions of extraterrestrial beings with startling precision. The plate surfaced in a private collection during the 1960s, reportedly discovered in remote regions of the Himalayas where few outsiders ever venture. The stone disc measured approximately 12 inches in diameter and contained intricate spiral patterns radiating from a central humanoid figure. But this wasn't any ordinary ancient artwork. The depicted being possessed an enlarged head, elongated limbs, and large oval eyes that were unmistakably similar to contemporary accounts of extraterrestrial visitors. European researcher Dr. Hartwig Hausdorff briefly studied the plate and documented its extraordinary features before it vanished from the collection under mysterious circumstances. His photographs revealed carving techniques that shouldn't have existed in ancient Nepal, with precision that suggested the use of advanced tools. The spiral patterns contained mathematical relationships that indicated sophisticated understanding of geometric principles. Most unsettling was the central figure itself. The proportions, facial features, and body structure matched descriptions from modern UFO encounters with uncanny accuracy. The large eyes, elongated skull, and thin limbs were depicted with anatomical detail that suggested the artist had observed such a being firsthand, rather than creating it from imagination. The plate's disappearance followed a pattern now familiar in suppressed archaeology. After initial documentation, powerful interests intervened to prevent further study. The private collector claimed he was pressured to sell the artifact to unnamed buyers who immediately removed it from public access. Dr. Hausdorff's research materials were confiscated, and he was warned against continuing his investigation. Only a single blurred photograph survives today, carefully controlled and distributed through unofficial channels. The image quality has been deliberately degraded, making detailed analysis impossible while still revealing enough to confirm the artifact's extraordinary nature. This controlled release of limited evidence appears designed to discredit the discovery while preventing comprehensive scientific examination. Moving from Nepal's mountains to the ancient temples of Egypt, we encounter another forbidden artifact that challenges conventional understanding of prehistoric flight capabilities. The Saqqara bird, discovered in an Egyptian tomb, represents far more than primitive artwork. This wooden carving displays aerodynamic principles that shouldn't have existed in ancient civilizations. The artifact exhibits perfect proportions for controlled flight, with swept-back wings, a stabilizing vertical tail fin, and weight distribution that matches modern glider design. When aeronautical engineers created exact replicas and tested them in wind tunnels, the results were extraordinary. The ancient design achieved stable, controlled flight characteristics that would impress any modern aircraft designer. This wasn't accidental artistic achievement. The Saqqara bird demonstrates understanding of complex aerodynamic principles, including lift generation, stability control, and flight dynamics that required advanced knowledge of physics and engineering. The proportions are so precise that even minor modifications destroy the flight characteristics, suggesting the original was copied from a functional aircraft rather than created through trial and error. Archaeological authorities now strictly prohibit detailed aerodynamic testing of the original artifact. Requests for comprehensive analysis have been denied under cultural protection laws, preventing scientists from conducting the research needed to fully understand its significance. The few studies that were completed before restrictions were imposed have been classified and removed from academic access. Independent researchers who built flying replicas faced legal action and had their models confiscated by government authorities. The systematic suppression suggests that the Saqqara bird represents evidence too dangerous for public knowledge. If ancient Egyptians created accurate models of flying machines, it raises fundamental questions about who was operating aircraft in prehistoric skies. The pattern of evidence points toward a disturbing conclusion. These ancient peoples may have witnessed advanced flying technology firsthand and created detailed replicas of what they observed. The precision of the aerodynamic design suggests the original aircraft demonstrated flight capabilities that impressed ancient observers enough to warrant careful documentation in wood and stone. Our investigation continues with perhaps the most scientifically challenging artifact of all, one that exists at the intersection of astronomy and impossible ancient technology. The Antikythera star map represents perhaps the most astronomically impossible discovery in human history. While the famous Antikythera mechanism has been celebrated as the world's first analog computer, what most people don't know is that divers reportedly discovered an additional component that was hastily removed from official records before proper cataloging could occur. This missing plate allegedly contained detailed star charts and celestial maps depicting constellations and stellar positions that should have been invisible to ancient Greek observers. The engravings showed remarkable precision in plotting cosmic objects that existed far beyond the viewing capabilities of any terrestrial civilization. Most disturbing of all, the star positions appeared to be mapped from a vantage point somewhere in deep space, as if observed from outside our solar system entirely. The implications were staggering. How could ancient Greeks create astronomical maps showing stellar positions visible only from locations millions of miles from Earth? The precision of the celestial plotting suggested advanced understanding of three-dimensional space navigation and interstellar positioning that wouldn't be achieved by human astronomy for over 2 millennia. Maritime archaeologists who examined the plate described markings that indicated specific star systems now known to harbor potentially habitable planets. The ancient cartographers had somehow identified and mapped cosmic locations that modern astronomers are only beginning to explore with our most advanced telescopes and space-based observation platforms. But before comprehensive analysis could begin, government authorities intervened with unprecedented speed. The plate was classified as culturally sensitive material and removed from the archaeological site within hours of its discovery. Official records were altered to eliminate any mention of the additional component, and researchers were warned that discussing the star map would result in immediate termination of their careers and potential legal action. Dr. Andreas Farakis, the marine archaeologist who first documented the plate, attempted to publish his findings, but found that every academic journal refused his submissions. His research funding was withdrawn, his university position terminated, and his reputation systematically destroyed through coordinated professional sabotage. Within months, he had been completely erased from the archaeological community. The systematic suppression suggests that the Antikythera star map contained evidence too dangerous for public knowledge. If ancient civilizations possessed detailed knowledge of distant star systems and cosmic positioning, it raises fundamental questions about the source of their astronomical information. Such precision would require either impossible technological capabilities or direct instruction from intelligence with access to interstellar navigation systems. From Greece's underwater mysteries, we journey to South Africa's ancient mines, where discoveries dating back nearly 3 billion years challenge every assumption about the development of intelligent life on Earth. Deep in the gold mines of Klerksdorp, workers have discovered thousands of metallic spheres that exhibit precision manufacturing impossible for natural geological processes. The Klerksdorp spheres aren't random mineral formations. Each sphere displays 3 parallel grooves running around its circumference with mathematical precision that would challenge modern machining capabilities. The spacing between grooves is identical across all specimens, suggesting they were created using standardized manufacturing processes that shouldn't exist in rocks predating human civilization by billions of years. Metallurgical analysis revealed compositions that defied conventional understanding of prehistoric mineral formation. The spheres contain metallic elements and crystalline structures that require controlled manufacturing environments and temperatures far beyond anything achievable through natural geological processes. The precision of their construction suggests advanced engineering capabilities that existed on Earth long before any known form of intelligent life evolved. Most unsettling is their incredible age. Geological dating places these artifacts at nearly 3 billion years old, created during an era when Earth's atmosphere couldn't support complex life forms. Yet here are thousands of precisely manufactured objects displaying technological sophistication that suggests the presence of advanced intelligence during Earth's prehistoric period. Government mining authorities now strictly control access to new discoveries. Researchers who attempt to study the spheres face legal restrictions and equipment confiscation. The few samples that were analyzed before restrictions were imposed have been classified and removed from academic access. Independent laboratories that attempted analysis found their research terminated and materials confiscated by federal agents. The systematic suppression appears motivated by the revolutionary implications of prehistoric manufacturing evidence. If intelligent beings were creating precision-engineered objects on Earth 3 billion years ago, it fundamentally challenges evolutionary timelines and suggests our planet may have been visited or inhabited by advanced civilizations long before human development began. Perhaps most disturbing is what happened to Dr. Michael Tellinger, the geologist who first documented the sphere's impossible precision. After publishing preliminary findings about their manufactured characteristics, he faced professional persecution and legal harassment that effectively ended his research career. His geological samples were confiscated, his laboratory access revoked, and his academic credentials questioned through coordinated professional sabotage. Our investigation now takes us from South Africa's prehistoric mysteries to Mexico's remote caves, where one of the most controversial discoveries in modern archaeology continues to generate heated debate and systematic suppression among scientific institutions worldwide. The Star-Child skull represents perhaps the most biologically impossible artifact ever discovered. Found in a cave system in Mexico during the 1930s, this unusual cranial specimen displays anatomical characteristics that don't match any known human or primate species. The skull exhibits enlarged eye sockets, unusual cranial capacity, and bone fiber composition, unlike anything documented in conventional anthropological records. Initial DNA analysis revealed genetic markers that couldn't be classified within existing taxonomic categories. The mitochondrial DNA showed human maternal lineage, but nuclear DNA contained sequences that didn't match any known terrestrial species. Laboratory technicians described genetic patterns that appeared to represent hybridization between human DNA and something else entirely, something that wasn't present in any genetic database. The bone composition itself defied conventional understanding of skeletal development. Microscopic analysis revealed fiber structures that were simultaneously stronger and lighter than normal human bone, with growth patterns that suggested development under different gravitational or atmospheric conditions than those found on Earth. The skull's proportions indicated brain capacity significantly larger than normal human cranial volume, but the most extraordinary discovery came from advanced DNA sequencing that revealed genetic segments containing information that didn't correspond to any known biological functions. These mysterious genetic sequences appeared to contain coded information that suggested artificial manipulation or engineering at the molecular level. The implications were revolutionary and terrifying. Before researchers could complete their analysis, the laboratory conducting the DNA work was shut down under mysterious circumstances. Equipment was confiscated, research data was classified, and scientists involved in the project were warned against continuing their investigation. The skull disappeared from public access and was reportedly moved to a classified government facility for further study. Dr. Lloyd Pye, the researcher who had spent years studying the skull, faced systematic persecution after attempting to publish his findings. His research funding was eliminated, his academic affiliations severed, and his professional reputation destroyed through coordinated disinformation campaigns. He died under circumstances that his supporters considered suspicious, effectively ending all legitimate research into the skull's extraordinary characteristics. The suppression pattern surrounding the star-child skull suggests it represents evidence of genetic engineering or hybridization that challenges fundamental assumptions about human evolution and our place in the cosmic hierarchy. If the DNA analysis was accurate, it provides physical proof that human genetics may have been influenced by intelligence from beyond Earth. Our final forbidden artifact takes us to the ancient ruins of Bolivia, where evidence of impossible metallurgical techniques continues to baffle researchers and challenge everything we know about prehistoric technological capabilities. At the ancient site of Tiwanaku, massive stone blocks weighing hundreds of tons contain metal clamps and plugs that appear to have been inserted while in a molten state. These aren't simple bronze or iron fittings hammered into place. The metal components are fused directly into the stone structure at the molecular level, creating bonds that would require temperatures and techniques far beyond the capabilities of any known ancient civilization. The precision of the metalwork is extraordinary. Each clamp fits perfectly into carved recesses with tolerances measured in fractions of millimeters. The metal composition includes alloys that shouldn't have been available to prehistoric peoples, containing elements that require advanced smelting techniques and metallurgical knowledge that supposedly didn't exist until modern industrial processes were developed. Most puzzling is the purpose of these metal components. They don't appear to serve any structural function that couldn't have been achieved through conventional stone construction techniques. Instead, they seem designed for unknown technological applications that remain mysterious to modern engineers and archaeologists. Some researchers have suggested the metal plugs might have served as electrical conductors or energy distribution systems for purposes we can't comprehend. The Bolivian government now prohibits detailed analysis of the metal components. Requests for microscopic examination, spectral analysis, and metallurgical testing have been denied under cultural heritage protection laws. Researchers who attempt to study the fittings face legal action and equipment confiscation by government authorities. Independent analysis conducted before restrictions were imposed revealed metallic compositions that challenged conventional understanding of ancient metallurgy. The alloys contained elements that required controlled atmospheric conditions and temperature precision that wouldn't be achieved by human technology for thousands of years. The molecular bonding between metal and stone suggested manufacturing processes that remain beyond current industrial capabilities. Dr. Arthur Poznansky, the archaeologist who first documented the impossible metalwork, faced professional persecution after publishing his findings about the advanced metallurgical techniques. His research was discredited through coordinated academic campaigns, his funding eliminated, and his discoveries systematically erased from archaeological records. The pattern of suppression suggests that the metal fittings represent evidence too dangerous for public knowledge. The systematic concealment of these 10 forbidden artifacts reveals a disturbing pattern of institutional control over information that could fundamentally alter human understanding of our origins, our history, and our place in the universe. Each discovery was systematically suppressed, not because it lacked scientific validity, but because it challenged established narratives about human development and our planet's hidden past. The evidence becomes even more compelling when we examine the coordinated nature of these suppressions. Each artifact didn't simply disappear through random bureaucratic incompetence or academic oversight. Instead, we see systematic patterns of intervention that suggest centralized control over archaeological information that threatens established narratives about human civilization. Consider the timeline of suppressions. From the 1930s discovery of the Dropa discs to the 1990s seizure of star-child DNA samples, powerful institutions have consistently intervened whenever researchers approached breakthrough discoveries about our prehistoric past. The speed and efficiency of these interventions suggests pre-existing protocols designed specifically to contain evidence of extraterrestrial contact or advanced ancient civilizations. Most telling is the consistency of suppression methods across different countries, institutions, and decades. Whether in Nepal, Colombia, Egypt, or South Africa, the same pattern emerges: initial discovery, brief research period, government intervention, evidence confiscation, researcher persecution, and systematic erasure from official records. This uniformity suggests coordination at levels that transcend national boundaries and academic institutions. The technological sophistication displayed across these artifacts points toward knowledge sources that shouldn't have existed in ancient times. The aerodynamic precision of golden aircraft, the metallurgical impossibilities of prehistoric spheres, the astronomical accuracy of star maps, and the genetic anomalies of hybrid skulls all suggest access to advanced scientific understanding that ancient civilizations couldn't have developed independently. What's particularly disturbing is the pattern of researcher elimination that follows each discovery. Scientists who study these artifacts don't simply lose funding or face academic criticism. They experience coordinated professional destruction, designed to serve as warnings to others who might consider pursuing similar research. Careers are systematically demolished, reputations destroyed, and in several cases, researchers have died under circumstances their supporters consider suspicious. The message is unmistakable. Certain discoveries are too dangerous for human knowledge. The implications of these artifacts threaten not just archaeological timelines, but fundamental assumptions about human development, our technological capabilities, and our place in the cosmic hierarchy. If ancient civilizations possessed advanced technology or maintained contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, it would revolutionize our understanding of history, religion, and human potential. Perhaps most chilling is what these suppressions suggest about current knowledge held by government and institutional authorities. The speed and efficiency of evidence confiscation implies that powerful organizations already understand the significance of these discoveries. They're not surprised by impossible metallurgy, advanced ancient technology, or evidence of extraterrestrial contact because they already possess comprehensive knowledge about these phenomena. The systematic nature of suppression suggests that these 10 artifacts represent merely the visible fraction of a much larger collection of forbidden evidence. In classified facilities worldwide, breakthrough discoveries likely gather dust while humanity remains ignorant of truths that could transform our civilization. Advanced technologies, proof of extraterrestrial contact, and evidence of prehistoric civilizations may all exist within government vaults, deliberately hidden from public knowledge. The pattern reveals that information control operates as a fundamental mechanism for maintaining existing power structures. If humanity discovered that advanced technology has existed for millennia, that extraterrestrial contact occurred throughout history, or that our ancestors possessed capabilities we're only beginning to understand, it would fundamentally alter social, religious, and political institutions worldwide. These forbidden artifacts prove that history isn't simply what happened in the past. History is what certain powers have decided we're allowed to know about the past. The real story of human civilization, our cosmic connections, and our technological heritage remains locked away, accessible only to those with clearance levels that transcend public accountability. The 10 discoveries we've examined today represent more than archaeological anomalies or scientific curiosities. They're evidence of systematic information warfare designed to keep humanity ignorant of our true origins, our cosmic significance, and our technological inheritance. Each suppressed artifact brings us closer to understanding that we live in a carefully constructed version of reality, one that conceals truths powerful enough to transform human civilization forever. The question isn't whether these artifacts prove extraterrestrial contact or advanced ancient civilizations. The question is, what other revolutionary discoveries remain hidden in classified vaults, waiting for the day when humanity finally demands access to the complete truth about our extraordinary past and our limitless future among the stars. These 10 forbidden artifacts represent more than suppressed archaeological discoveries. They're proof that humanity lives under a carefully constructed veil of ignorance, denied access to evidence that could rewrite our understanding of civilization, technology, and our cosmic origins. The systematic pattern of suppression reveals coordinated efforts to keep revolutionary truths buried in classified vaults, while we remain convinced that our current technological achievements represent the pinnacle of human development. Until we demand transparency and challenge the institutions that control our access to forbidden knowledge, the most extraordinary discoveries about our past and our potential will continue disappearing into the darkness, leaving us to wonder what other impossible truths are being hidden from humanity's awakening consciousness.